Suki is a student who lives in a lost town where a famous, tall, and mysterious idol who had problems in the city suddenly arrived. This boy named Link with a bad boy aura sat with Suki, and when they look at each other they are like two thunders colliding, but the boy did not know Suki's secret. She is a pet pig, which came out of her backpack and started running while the girl chases it. The pig fled terrified and Suki finally caught it, but the teacher exploded with rage punishing her, and things get worse because in her house she suddenly heard a person in the shower who is not from her family. She discovered the boy without any clothes on and, upon looking at her, noticed how he could read her soul. Because of this, she was so shocked that she dropped the brick, hitting her foot. In the midst of pain, he got out of the shower while she asked what she was doing in his house. Her uncle then informed her that the boy would be living with her temporarily, to which she initially refused, so the boy said he would pay them a large sum of money, which would be a positive change for their financial problems. There's only one room in the house, so one of the main characters has to go to the basement. Since he pays the rent, he wins the fight, and as she's about to leave, he points out her bra. She, embarrassed, takes it off, realizing he's the first guy to see her underwear. After this, she discovered that Lin is one of the stars of the most popular drama currently in existence and also promotes Chinese drinks on billboards. She didn't know Lin was so famous and agreed to keep it a secret to avoid strange rumors. However, the village chief informed her that Lin is a real celebrity and a star. Therefore, upon arriving at school, she found the girls screaming around her and kissing her. She's the only girl not mesmerized by him and publicly mocks him. In response, Lin publicly announced that she's living at Suki's house, raising suspicions that they're actually dating. Lin also explains that anyone who has an appointment with him should contact Suki, as she's his secretary. Suki said it was a lie and no one believes her. So, eager for revenge, she summoned her childhood friends, the Sweet Death Squad. She explains that Lin is their target, and they meet him in full fighting gear. She pretends to be strong and tells him to laugh now because soon you won't even be able to cry. But when she goes to push him, a pin in his uniform draws blood from her hand. The enemy came prepared, and when she went for it again, the teacher appeared and punished her for misbehaving. She forces her to apologize to the guy who constantly angers her. Besides, Lin, being a celebrity, doesn't want to work. Suki angrily explained that if she works, she'll give her the house Wi-Fi, and anyone who suffers without internet gets to work in the fields in the blazing sun. The peasant women cheer him on, delighted to see a famous person working, and he realized that doing good deeds is good for the soul. He then reveals the real reason he came to the countryside. A few months ago, he was attending a meeting with a famous director with a friend, hoping to star in a drama. But the director turned out to be a pervert. He forced the girl to drink until she was drunk, and when she was worse, he groped her legs and harassed her nonstop. Due to this injustice, he confronted everyone, threw champagne at them, and hit the perverted director. As a result, his manager terminated his contract and kicked him out of the entertainment company. Lin's goal is to restore his reputation, while also falling in love with this somewhat proud but honest-hearted girl. She slept with him, and the boy reveals that she clung to him all night, as if she loved him. Embarrassed, she headbutted him and fled the room with butterflies in her stomach. With this love, the most difficult mission of their lives begins, living together without killing each other. As she entered the bathroom, he was inside, and she let out a scream that the neighbors heard. They thought they did the dirty thing every day. At that moment, the protagonist's father called the house, and she took control of the call to inform him that the boy had done nothing but cause trouble in town. He also says he can't stop falling in love with the girl, and her father gives her permission to punish him however she wants. She puts him to work at a grocery store, and as he does so, the sweat makes their skin shine, and her legs drive him crazier and crazier. This surprises him because it's the first time a woman has captured his soul like this, without letting him breathe. Then she remembers she has to collect food from the townspeople with the account book, and they face off against 3 peasants eager for a fight. She didn't have a weapon and they only had hoes and shovels, so they're at a disadvantage. When Lena leaves, fed up, she decides to hide the notebook near a stream, intending to irritate her. But the joke backfires, as the notebook gets wet and damages all the pages to the point where it's impossible to read. She exploded with rage, as this notebook was a gift from her beloved grandmother before she died. It also contained collection records for $3,000, now irretrievably lost. The girl insulted her and struck her like daggers, and as she left behind a small note with a list of things she wanted to buy to make Lin more comfortable in the apartment. This made him feel even more guilty, and when he talked to his friends, he discovered that Suki's grandmother had passed away 6 years earlier, which was a huge blow because they were kindred spirits. Then her uncle quickly fell into debt, and she had to work tirelessly and earn an income to help out at home. He repentantly promises to return the money he stole from her. She would use this money to leave the town and gain opportunities in life. She thanks him, exchanging loving glances. Money is important, obviously, but love is even more so because it's the driving force of our existence. Love is a feeling Lin hasn't felt yet, and with her around, she's beginning to feel a thump in her heart. He then explained that while he's here, he hasn't been able to compose music because he's lacking inspiration, and she replies that he should look to nature for inspiration. However, he focuses on her eyes, her lips, and her personality, searching for the best love song among her kisses. However, just when their love is at its most intense, Kocho arrives to upset him. Kocho is a handsome idol, the star of the current drama and Lin's friend. The girls go crazy for him, and the jealous man went into the ocean when he was suddenly stung by a jellyfish on his leg. The pain increased, and the only solution they could find was urine, as it's a good disinfectant against jellyfish. Then Suki stood between the boys and started peeing in a bucket while everyone looked away. She then disinfected his wound, and now he feels closer to her. What a disturbing fact. Then, on a night of fireworks, when love floats through the air, he approached, looking deep into her being, seeing her bones, her veins, her blood, now connected by a greater power that also runs through her spirit. The next day, Lin went viral for a video of herself shucking oysters, and this attracted the attention of people in the city, who quickly discover her whereabouts. The news sparked a stir, as some fans enthusiastically demanded her return, while others cruelly criticized him. It even began to spread that he went to the village because he has a secret girlfriend there. And this is where Suki's jealousy kicked in, as she asked her friends for help finding out if he has a secret girlfriend. They followed him everywhere, even when he was in the bathroom to keep an eye out for someone, and in a fit of rage, he told her he liked blonde girls, which she didn't take well. She says, "If you don't love me with my hair color, then it's not true love." And he responds that he doesn't really care about my hair, but rather that I have a sincere heart, a cheerful personality, and a vitality in my soul that motivates him to do things as a couple. So, since Suki has all those qualities, she wonders if he's referring to her. In the midst of this, his manager contacted the boy again and, due to the viral video, suggested he return to the city to resume his career in the entertainment world. This news pleases him, but at the same time, it bothers him because his feelings for the girl had blossomed like a garden. Following his heart's advice, he decides to stay in the town for a few more days, hoping to soak up the sparkle in her eyes. He also makes money by selling a song he wrote with her in mind and wholeheartedly proposes taking Suki to the city to buy a used car for her uncle. She rejected the proposal, saying that her leg hurts, which surprises Lin, who goes to her friends to better understand this, and they reveal that the city is cursed for Suki because every time she goes to the city, someone important in her family dies. First it was her parents, and then her poor grandmother. She thinks that if she goes again, her uncle will die, Lin's soul will fall to hell in eternal pain. So Lin put a blindfold on her, closed the curtains of the car, and drove her to the city. When she realized what was happening, she started screaming in terror. The boy ignored her, and she got out of the car with the blindfold on and took a look at the city, which brought back nightmares that choked her soul, and she threw herself to the ground. She then grabbed onto the protagonist's legs, afraid he might die. He explained that he was fine for now and decided to move away, leaving her on her own in this uncertain world. The girl agreed to go for a ride around the city on the condition that she wore the blindfold at all times. Then he took advantage of her blindness and played a prank on her and before she knew it, he put her on a ride that goes at 3,000 miles per hour. She couldn't get off, and when she finished, she vomited all the food in her stomach while cursing Lin, who was really doing this to help her. They argue, and he says she must face her fears. Otherwise, she'll spend her whole life locked away, never knowing the beautiful world around her. Hearing these words, Suki felt hurt and walked away, remembering her grandmother's terrible accident. Her mask was also taken off, and she panicked, but Lin arrived in time to protect her. He wraps her in his arms and apologizes for hurting her. The girl can't stop crying, and with kindness, he wipes her tears and puts on headphones that play the sound of floating watermelon, the town where he was born and raised. This action, along with others from his past, makes the connection between their souls grow so close that just by looking at them, she imagines a lifetime with him. Later, he tells his friends that in the old mansion at the edge of town, there's a wish room guarded by a very bad-tempered ghost woman. Whenever anyone approaches the mansion, they always come out with poop on their pants. She says she'd like to go there to make a wish that's tattooed on her soul. Lin confesses her heartfelt feelings to him. That same night, they set out to explore the haunted mansion, and upon hearing a mysterious voice, they fled hand in hand to an old warehouse where the fire from her lips burned like the hottest volcano. Suddenly, they found the legendary wishing room, and one by one, they made their wish for wealth, success, and more material things. Now it's Suki's turn, and she asked for something different. She wants to find true love. Lin rejoices at these words. In fact, a voice suddenly said that their wish was going to come true, and they don't know if it was a joke or a spirit who said it. After this, the friends went to sleep together, worried about their future. Seeing them like this, their uncle chatted with them and reminded them that having doubts is normal and encouraged them to follow their dreams above all else. So Lin, missing making music and being an idol, going to stadiums and concerts, tells his manager that he's ready to return to the industry. This news saddens Suki because it means she'll be leaving town and, therefore, her life. Her worst nightmare comes true, and she sincerely tells him, "I need a couple more days with you to reveal a secret from my heart." So Lin ends up spending quality time with Suki, and his friends notice he's more nervous than usual and sense he's in love with her. They tell him his problem is that he's too passive around girls and insist, "You need to be more clear about your feelings because otherwise, the girl you love won't know how you feel." What great advice! Suddenly, Suki stood in front of him and, holding a heart, shouted to Lin that she liked him in such a genuine and passionate way that it touched his heart like an arrow. He couldn't bear the pain of this love any longer, and for her sake, even in front of everyone, he confessed that he also had feelings for her. A love that burns as fast as fire and scorches their souls every second they're not kissing. However, when she browsed the internet, she found Lin's secret Facebook account, where she discovered 2 recent posts about her. A mocking meme and a somewhat cruel criticism about her lack of interest in her studies. She exploded with rage and said, "I may not be as smart as you, but I don't make fun of others. My heart is as clear as crystal, and I would never think that way about you." Lin now feels vulnerable because her identity was discovered, and like a gossip, she spends her days scrolling through all of his Facebook posts. However, she accidentally liked one of his posts, one of the worst mistakes you can make online. Oh my God! She was dying of embarrassment, and Lin, knowing this, instead of overwhelming her, became more sweet to her. At that moment, the protagonist discovered that there was an arsonist on the loose in the town who promised to burn down the house of a local family. The police are investigating who the arsonist could be, and on their own, even though he's very dangerous, they also search for this guy hiding in dark alleys. She heard a noise outside the store. Frightened, she went outside and found the arsonist standing right in front of her, throwing alcohol and trying to set the store on fire. She fought the man with all her might to stop him. The criminal won the first fight and threatened to kill Suki when Lin arrived, like a superhero, and fought the evil criminal. They pin him to the ground, making it clear that no one dares insult his beloved. After the police take care of this and take the guy to jail, she's still sad because there's only one more day until Lin leaves town. So, secretly texting each other, they decide to make one last date. She appeared straight out of a perfume commercial, more beautiful than the moon. Lynn was completely shocked by the aura she had when she moved, when she walked, and simply when she was near him. As they walked through the town, everything was beautiful. Suddenly, bam! He found out that the protagonist's father had already bought a plane ticket back to the city. She argued with him because her greatest dream was for her to stay with him and have children. The protagonist responded by saying he promised to return, and they ended up arguing, as is tradition. But that same day, life deals them a bigger blow. Old Blue, the village's most beloved woman, was hospitalized with a heart attack and later died without the doctor being able to do anything. This event makes the townspeople realize how fleeting life is, and they begin to confess their feelings. The school teacher takes his girlfriend to the wish room and there, without hesitation, asks her to marry him. Another friend confessed to the girl that he likes her love, and the only ones left are our protagonists, so proud that they say nothing. He received a call from Mrs. Liu's son asking him to stop by her house, and there he found a letter from his grandmother asking him to go to the wish room. Allure surprised his beloved, mesmerized, staring at the wall, and together they read the last wish Mrs. Liu had written, that they stop fighting constantly, but always be together because time is unforgiving, and when you find a true connection in this world, you must cherish it like a golden flower, for it is the most valuable treasure in existence. With this blow to the heart, they make peace and promise to never separate. A month later, the professor married his sweetheart in the village, and everything seemed happy for the protagonists. Suddenly, Lynn's father appeared, intending to take him to the city to study and resume his acting career. The boy refused to obey his orders and had a huge argument, in which the father insulted his son, believing he was wasting his life. Suki then activated her defense mode and stood up to the father, setting the record straight. Not everything in life is success. Her son is talented, handsome, and a good person, and his passion above all else is music, not acting. She says her music is causing a sensation on the internet, but what Suki wants to express above all else is that friendship and love are the most important things in the world. How many successful and wealthy people are unhappy because they don't have people around them who truly love them and speak to them sincerely when they need it. The father, aware of the difficulties of the entertainment industry, is unable to hide the truth and agrees to let his son stay in the village to find his true happiness. After this, Lynn pretended to go to the city, and Suki began to cry inconsolably. The boy suddenly appeared, saying it was a joke, although in reality, it was part of a trick to find out how much she loved him. So Suki finished her exams with a good grade, and it's time to take the step to university. Surprise! The university is in the city, so her dreams of staying are now impossible. She's determined to go to university, even though she's afraid of the city, and Lynn supports her decision to study what makes her happy. So, to avoid being separated, they agree to rent a house together in the city and live out their love. So the first to leave is Lynn, who gets a nice surprise on her last day, attended by all her friends except Suki. He wonders why she isn't there, because she can't bear the thought of being separated from him, because he loves looking into her beautiful eyes in the morning and hearing her voice that enters her soul, comforting her when she's angry. Then the boy put an earpiece on her and made her listen to a recording from her childhood, in which she declared her love for the protagonist. In fact, they've known each other since childhood, before he became famous. She didn't remember, and now she sees that their love was destined long ago, and he sincerely promises to share every step of their journey with her. Then she takes out a can full of fireflies that light up the night sky, creating a romantic atmosphere, and they hold hands, making a pact of eternal union. The next morning, the entire village gathers and bids farewell to the boy, encouraging him to always strive and, above all, to wait for Suki, who is unable to hold back her tears because her love is flying away, without knowing if she will ever see him again. A few months later, she graduates, and this should have been a moment of happiness, but Suki is still sad, not only because Lynn left but also because he doesn't answer her messages. She begins to think that he's cheating on her or that he doesn't even like her anymore. Amidst this stress, She celebrates her 18th birthday and tries her first beer. This gets her drunk, and they decide to climb the school wall. They run through the courtyard and write their dreams for the future on the blackboard. Suki was walking calmly when she saw some fireflies in the air that curiously take her to a classroom where there are banners of her town, and there is Lin with a cake singing happy birthday to her while she can't hold back her tears. With this surprise, he reminds her that he promised to be there for her most important days, and she thanks him but also reprimands him for not writing to her in so many months. He explained that his father only gave her freedom if she focused on her studies without talking to anyone from the town, and in the middle of the fight their faces were millimeters apart. Their skin melts from the heat of their gazes, and he finally touched her lips and kissed her passionately to begin their new life of happiness, because true love is a connection that goes beyond the physical, the words of the normal. It is something spiritual. It is a melody that was always in your heart, and now you hear clearly, and above all, when you look into those beautiful eyes that you love. You realize that finally, in this life, you have found your place in the world. And well, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any video.